All right, friends, you survived April Fool's Day, but we just got hit pretty hard this week. We're going to give you some more updates on what's going on out here, so hopefully you have a good Friday and that you're surviving out there. This is a Watchmen update. We got Food Bank president getting a $700,000 a year salary while people go hungry, and it has people up in arms. We got more shaking out from the tariffs from Wednesday as other countries start to hit back. The European Union has decided that it's going to start hitting U.S. tech companies, including Elon Musk's Twitter, of course. China gets a major credit downgrade since the U.S. won't be buying their stuff anymore. And U.S. car companies, or car companies in general, start responding to the tariffs. They're starting to create more cars in the U.S., and they're shutting down production lines in Canada as well as Mexico. Naturally, the U.S. Senate has decided to try to take back tariff powers from President Trump, and Ford Motors is slashing car prices in response to the tariffs. We got an intriguing product that one of you guys have recommended. If you have fruit trees, you might want to check this out. I just checked it out myself. And we have a whole bunch of other Watchmen updates. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. Please do keep them coming in. Make sure you use the word update if you have something to share with the group. That gets it to the right place and gives some sort of geographical location if it's relevant to it. All right, let's jump straight in here. We're going to bring on Jonathan and from Genesis Gold Group this afternoon to get his response to what's going on with the markets and let us know kind of what's going to happen next and steps we can take with that. All right, U.S. senators are seeking to rein in the Trump tariff authority. So basically the idea with this legislation that just passed the Senate, we'll see if it gets through the House or not. But basically Congress will have to approve tariffs within 60 days or else they just kind of expire. This is interesting and most likely will be vetoed as soon as it gets to the president's desk, if it does. So it's probably pretty dead on arrival, but we'll see. I'm not sure. Maybe the politicians are just doing this kind of just kind of making a move just for political purposes, or whether they're actually trying to get this thing through. I don't know. To override a veto, they need a lot more votes. Mass stabbing incident in Washington, D.C., and then the networks lit up over a potentially explosive package found near the White House. In this stabbing incident, at least 7 were injured. Still getting reports on that, but a big deal. I guess boomstick control doesn't really work completely when people can do other things to each other. France has said that the European Union will now start targeting U.S. online services, such as tech stocks, in response to Trump tariffs. Now, this will, if they do that, they will trigger additional tariffs against themselves. That's the promise of the Trump administration, is that any reciprocity will trigger more tariffs against those countries. European regulators have decided that they want to fine Twitter $1 billion because, you know, they're getting exactly to the amount of damage here, and so they're rounding it off to $1 billion. Doesn't sound political at all. Apparently, the reason for this is because Twitter, or X, doesn't have enough censorship and fact-checking. They need to hire liberals to fact-check and to control the stories and narratives coming out in the news. Twitter's like, heck with that. We're not doing that. No, we're gonna have this thing called freedom of speech. We're just gonna kind of let everyone just kind of do their thing. And Europe does not like that. Europe doesn't like the whole freedom thing. So that's happening. All right, Ford Motors has offered across-the-board discounts, jumping on the recent tariff-induced, trying to get a tariff-induced sales bump. They do have a bunch of their cars and light trucks and stuff like that produced here in the United States, and so they want to move as many vehicles as possible. So they are offering employee discounts to everybody. So whatever they give their employees is what they're going to give everyone for the next, I think, 60 days. So if you're looking for a car and you're not opposed to a Ford vehicle and you're buying new or whatever, I don't know what deals there might be for used cars. Expect used car prices to go up dramatically in the near future. So we got that. Stellantis, which is one of the big auto producers out there, they produce all the smaller, different vehicles and stuff like that for some of the no-name brands. Stellantis has moved to halt production of autos in Mexico and Canada. This is a big impact out there. They realize that the vehicles being made in Mexico are not for the Mexicans. Okay, they're to be moved across the border and sold in the U.S. Everybody knows that. And the cars being made in Canada, by and large, are to be shipped across the border into the United States. And they're going to be hit with these 25% tariffs plus additional tariffs. Not really worth it anymore. So they're going to just ramp up production inside the United States. We already have Volvo out there announcing to expand U.S. car production. They're expanding their plant near Ridgeville, South Carolina, and adding new production lines there. And they're going to move some of the car production there that was being done overseas. Due to the tariffs, Fitch, one of the credit rating agencies, there's 3 of them, has downgraded China's credit rating to an A, which is not good. And if we look back to 2008, when they started downgrading credit ratings, it happened fast. Like they started going chop, 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 all the way down. Because they didn't want to cut them at all on companies, mortgage bonds, all this kind of stuff like that. They just kept them perfect. And then when they start cutting them, they just start chop, 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 real fast. So we may see the same thing happen with China. China sells a lot of stuff to the United States, and at 54 to 60% tariff is going to make that not work anymore. This is going to be a big, big deal. Minnesota lawmakers are now probing a food bank CEO and a food bank, calling it disgusting that the food bank CEO was getting paid $721,000 to distribute funds and food that was being provided by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and state agencies and such. $721,000 salary as residents face hunger. Not a good look. Not a good look. Mama Bird says, Chokir, I don't know how to pronounce it. The chocolate bars at Aldi have gone from $1.49 to $1.99. This will tug at your heartstrings. Lori, who has been a contributor to this channel since the very beginning, says, Winter Haven, Florida. Medicaid benefits update. Hi, Steve. You all know I have been on hospice care for a while. We're so glad that you're doing at least okay. I had a couple of bad falls. I ended up in the hospital and now in rehab. I had to sign off of hospice to be treated in the hospital. Hospice took all of their equipment back that I had. Here is where the anger over Medicaid comes in. My sister has been working on trying to get me into an assisted living apartment. In order to do that, I will have to go home with no hospice help, no hospital bed, no oxygen, no wheelchair, nothing. I will have to clean out my house because hospice took all that stuff back. I will have to clean out my house, sell it, and pay $8,000 up front before I can have my apartment in the assisted living. It angers me so much to hear of people stepping across the border and getting food stamps above what Americans can get for some reason. But they say that I make too much money on disability to qualify for food stamps. Plus, they get free medical care, which I don't qualify for, or anything else they want. I will be left with nothing when the money runs out from the sale of my home, and I will be forced to live in a skilled nursing facility. I am only 59 years old If this doesn't anger you, nothing will. Not asking for money or anything except maybe a prayer or two. Those are the real stories out there. That's how these policies are affecting Americans. We can't help our own people apparently, but we can help all these people from across the world. Richard says, do you eat Quaker old-fashioned oats? I do for 60 plus years. Last container I purchased had oat starch added to it, so now I have to rinse them. Used to be $2.49 3 years ago, and now it is over double that at $5.97 here in the Bay Area in California. All American-made products are total garbage now. Now, there's good products still, right? Lately, I am having to call U.S. companies to complain about quality and quantity. My family came from England in 1653. Now I want to move somewhere else. No country lasts forever. Well, hopefully we're turning things around. We'll see. Rebel Girl says, Spring Hill, Florida, yesterday in Sam's. It was a madhouse. Also, Walmart was a madhouse. Dollar Tree was a madhouse lines. Like you would not believe. You would think we were having a Cat 5 hurricane today, except for things that people were stocking up on. Not stalking, but that's what they say here. So we got people panic buying out there. Wear paper towels, toilet paper, meat, and staples. All those things. Stay safe and go steady by steady. Hopefully you guys are stocked up. I've only heard a few reports so far of people going out in force and trying to, and panic buying. But we are getting some reports of that out there. So if you need some stuff, you might want to go out and get it soon. Dawn says, we took our daughter to our primary care practitioner after being diagnosed with a gene variant C667T, also MET, on the COMT gene. This makes it impossible for her to metabolize the synthetic folic acid, which is in anything that has been enriched. Our PCP started her on so many supplements that she became sick and behaviors unmanageable. After consulting a Facebook doctor, I know it sounds crazy, we have reduced all of our supplements down to a specialized multivitamin and a specialized B complex. She is feeling much better. Funny. Mainstream media, practitioners putting people on stuff that's not making them feel better, it's making them feel worse. The thing is that even though they were supplements from the primary care doctor, he sold them through his practice. Of course, insurance wouldn't cover them, and the cost was $200 a month. Good idea to get a second opinion out there, friends. Good idea these days. Starseed says, I work in the apparel industry. Most people are unaware, but there are less than a dozen major manufacturers that produce most of the apparel that people wear. Most manufacturers had already pivoted most of their production out of China to Vietnam and Bangladesh and Pakistan and India and others, not expecting these other countries to be hit with tariffs. Well, that changed. Many retailers knew tariffs were coming and have placed orders for fall 2026 already. We are finishing up the fall 2026 for Bass Pro Sports and Dillard, for example, them being imported. Some retailers such as Meijer, Duluth Trading Company, and Walmart mostly are factory direct without dealing with a manufacturer, so they may not have the flexibility to pivot to factories in other countries. Off-price retailers such as TJ Maxx, Ross, Burlington, and these others are in the process of buying as much old inventory from past seasons and stockpiling them for their future needs. All right, let's get to the bottom of this. To the end, I implore you to take advantage of any fall, winter 2024 or spring 2025 sales and goods right now. They're already in the country, and they're not going to be hit with the tariffs. But future stuff coming in is going to get hit with these tariffs. Of course, buying in America is best, but if you cannot, get your Mexico denim, India for cotton and embroidery, South America and Pakistan for leather goods and apparel from most other countries is okay, but the quality is so-so on those places. So appreciate having an insider perspective on that. Jenny says Greensboro, North Carolina, gas price jumped 50 cents. Definitely P says Virginia gas has jumped 10 cents overnight. But there's good news. Gas and oil prices dropped dramatically just yesterday. You're going to start getting some relief at the pumps unless it bounces back hard, which I don't think it will bounce back immediately, so you should get some good gas prices in the coming week. Peggy says the Mackinac Bridge was closed by the Mackinac Bridge authorities on April 1st. They no idea when it will reopen. The bridge connects Upper and Lower Michigan. You can also get to it by boat, except during harsh weather and ice. The people there are stranded currently unless they go all the way around east through Ironwood and then into Wisconsin. That's hours out of the way. I know that no trucks carrying supplies will be crossing the bridge or going over on boat. I hope there are a lot of preppers up there. You can, because there aren't any supplies going up in Upper Michigan. AAA says, when planting fruit trees, it's good advice here. Let me know if you guys have tried this. Get fruit spike fertilizers. It's a fertilizer and a spike, and they drive it into the top of the tree, and then it just kind of starts to dissolve down and kind of goes down into the roots so that the tree can get the fertilizer. Use around new and older trees that aren't fruiting well. The new trees will grow faster and healthier, and the old trees will have higher yield the following year. Personally proven to work on my own trees. So I'll put that down in the pinned comment down below. Plant food spikes from Miracle Grow. I just got some myself. I'm going to try them out on my fruit trees. I'll let you know how that works. If you have any experience with fertilizer spikes, let us know. The Mudface says, more of a tip for pet owners. Find a local butcher and see if they offer pet food made from the trimmings and scraps. You can either raw feed or cook and add to dry food. Beef liver is also a good additive for pet food. Hunters should use organ meat as a pet food additive as well. So check out your local butchers and see if they have stuff that they'll give to you at a much lower rate or even for free. DH says, freezing seed update. It worked for me. I grew many beautiful flowers from seeds in years past, but noticed fewer were sprouting. I had an old pack of seeds from last year. I threw them in the freezer for 2 days and planted. So many sprouted. Thanks for the tip. A lot of you guys swear by that, so thanks for your information out there. All right, friends, if you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. Sorry about the Bible study falling through yesterday. Apparently, the audio didn't catch. So if you want to check out the Bible study through the book of Nehemiah, there's a link right there on the screen to get over there. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another, there's the links right there. I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.